Welcome to the Union Commemoration of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. My name is Lynn Fox, and I'm the International President of Workers United. Each year, we commemorate the infamous fire that took the lives of 146 young workers, most of them immigrant women and girls, and galvanized a movement for social and economic justice. We remember the Triangle dead and recommit ourselves to stand for workers. Workers who need us just as much today for all the support we can give them, whether it's Starbucks or the Alabama miners or the Bessemer Amazon workers. This anniversary is particularly poignant as we honor our brother Ed Vargas. Ed organized the Triangle Commemoration for over 40 years, and he is dearly and sorely missed. Next year, we look forward to unveiling the memorial. We remember the Triangle Fire, and in the words of Mother Jones, we'll mourn the dead, but fight like hell for the living. Thank you all for joining us and for remembering the Triangle Fire.
100 years from now.
Triangle Waste Company was located in the top 3 floors of the Ash Building, just 1 block east of the Washington Square Park.
Their boss is known for their fierce anti-unionism. Were on the top floor.
Beneath them, hundreds of workers on the 8th and 9th floors filled long lanes of sewing machines. Many were sisters, friends, and neighbors.
On March 25, 1911, at closing time, a fire broke out on the 8th floor of the factory. The brief moment between the start of the fire and when it began to spread gave most of these workers a chance to escape.
A warning was sent to the 10th floor where the bosses worked. All but 1 person on the 10th floor was able to get out.
On the 9th floor, there was no warning. The fire spread beneath them. In an instant, they were engulfed in flames.
The workers ran to find a way to escape. There were 2 staircases, a fire escape, and elevator.
The Washington Place staircase was locked. No one on the 9th floor escaped through that exit.
Others found the fire escape, which quickly filled with desperate workers. Suddenly, it broke away from the building, dropping them to their deaths.
The brave elevator operator was no match for the fast-spreading flames. Soon, workers were leaping into the elevator shaft to escape the fire.
A barrel of machine oil by the last remaining staircase exploded.
On the street, witnesses watched in horror as the windows filled with workers trapped by the fire.
There was a moment of hope when the fire truck arrived, but the ladder could only reach the 6th floor, well below the burning loft.
The workers began to jump.
In less than half an hour, 146 young workers, most of them immigrants, most of them Jewish or Italian-American women and girls, perished.
There was a trial, but despite the locked door, the owners were acquitted.
Here is the 9th floor.
Here is the 10th floor. Here is the fire escape. Here is the pavement they crashed through. Here is the elevator.
Here is the scene.
Here are the Triangle of workers.
100 years from now, Lizzie will be remembered. Sadie will be remembered. Otto will be remembered. Sophie will be remembered. Jenny will Dora will be remembered. Anna will be remembered. Gussie will be remembered. 100 years from now. 100 years from now. 100 years from now.
We remember the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. Mourn the dead and fight like hell for the living.
Organize, organize, organize. Organize, organize, organize. Organize, organize, organize. Organize, organize, organize. Workers from the South are here to say the time is right to organize today. We're tired of being used and exploited. Get up, wake up, let's go. We're gonna do it, 'cause we are so organized, organized, organized. Organized, organized, organized. Organized, organized, organized. Organized, organized, organized. We're not doing it for power, glory, or fame. We're not doing it for others to know our names. We're doing it 'cause we want to make it plain that we'll fight to make the boss do the right thing, 'cause we are so organized, organized, organized. Organized, organized, organized. Organized, organized, organized. Organized, organized, organized. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. Si se puede. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 Organize, organize, organize. Organize, organize, organize. Sing it again. Organize, organize, organize. Organize, organize, organize. Hello, I'm Tafara Walla Muhammad, and this is Pastor Danita Waller Page. We're two of the founding members of Day Tule Artists Collective, founded in the U.S. South, committed to social justice. We believe that we are here to create economic opportunities for marginalized artists that are committed to justice and the fight for what is right. At the Tule Artists Collective, we believe in collective voice, force, and power, be it through organizing or through our singing and collective playing, working together to create long-term change. We've worked together, combined with all of our years, multiple decades. So we're happy to be here. Day Tule Artists Collective is committed to, and we remember the Triangle Fire and the 146 dead. We mourn the dead and we fight like hell for the living. Thank you for having us.
Hey, we're here in Brooklyn, Alabama with United Mine Workers. We've been on strike since April 1st of 2021, and this is our strike pantry. So this right here is why solidarity is so important between the working class and between unions. Because without worker solidarity, we wouldn't be able to hold the line for 11 months. So what we do is we help supply food and solidarity messages to our families. And while we were on strike, it's unfair labor practices. We worked under a 5-year contract that exploited our labor, and exploited our families, and exploited our community. So when the contract was up, we had had enough. We said it's not okay that we're working in unsafe conditions. It's not okay that we never get to see our families. It's not okay that we're working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we deserve better. So we're here and we're fighting, and this is the same fight that's gone on throughout history. And that is why we're here today. That is why we're sending this video and a message of solidarity to all of you. So, right now we would like to say, we remember the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire, and we'll continue to mourn our dead, fight like hell for the living.
No go! No go! No go! No go!
The Bronx still burns in the cold. You know this is old news. You know this is somewhat of a cliche. Tenants are tired of filing the same heat complaints. Why is the Bronx still burning? Why is the Bronx still suffering? Standing on 8-hour lines outside of housing court bickering about the cold and the snow. Tired from their fingers dialing. Tired of being the zip code with the most restraints. Tired of buildings owned by someone out of state. Tired of the agony instilled in this borough's DNA. Tired of the shivering. This is not due to climate change, Arctic blasts, and nor'easter winds, nor unprecedented temperatures. 4 fingers have dialed 311 way before scientists warned there's no turning back. Going cold in your own home? This has nothing to do with the pandemic. This problem is long before SARS and CoV. So what has been the excuse? Because when trillionaires lose billions and billionaires lose millions and millionaires lose hundreds of thousands, the working class loses everything. Always a cheap scheme to get someone rich quick. Yet we beg for debt to take out private and Perkins loans with high interest rates. Because how low does one have to go just to qualify for financial aid? This modern melting pot of immigration keeping true to the first landing on Ellis Island. And does that bother an LLC? Cause a limited liability company looks down on me. It must be because my body is trembling and I have to deal with these living conditions because of never-ending inflation and gentrification, hiked rent that was already hiked. And I'm stuck in this hamster wheel of affordable housing, afraid to jump off because Lord only knows where I'm going to land. If I could afford it, I'm tired of the hustling. Born in 1982, and the story has yet to change. My borough is trapped in this Twilight Zone episode of repeated history. And if your inner city didn't kill you or destroy your mind and you weren't cast aside or made it out on time, then where do you go? Frozen solid inside your own home. Tenants were once African Americans, then Puerto Ricans, now they're Gambians. And politicians only visit when we're suffering, only hear us when our lungs are wheezing from black tar smoke, and only see us when we're nothing more than just ghosts. And it always takes steps to enforce a regulation that has decades in violations. We find our own workarounds by plugging in space heaters and falling asleep with the oven on 350 degrees. Bronxites' fingers have dialed 311 since 2003, back when Bloomberg governed our streets, protesting about the lack of warmth the holiday season continues to bring. Because slumlords now force us to accidentally torch our own buildings like they intentionally did back in the 1970s. Because our lives and deaths are nothing more than subsidies, where investors buy tenement housing for government incentives as quick as billionaires turn private jails into corporations. The Bronx is still burning, with black smoke blanketing sleeping faces, tired from wearing medical grade masks and keeping 6 feet of distance in a city without an inch to spare. Black smoke filling lungs that held onto their lives as our respiration created 2 years of isolated mental warfare. Keep letting the Bronx burn. The flames will spread like wildfire across the U.S. because we're the only piece of NYC on the mainland. The Hudson and East Rivers could never tame a wildfire on this land. Breaths will plead to breathe, like Floyd when pressed by a heavy knee. And the last 2 years may flash before your eyes, before the sting from manufacturing chemicals mixed into lead-based paint hide your fading lies from your own crying eyes. The world may be completely unprepared, but the Bronx has been burning in the cold for as long as it could bear.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to my poem, The Bronx Still Burns in the Cold. I'm Tanya M. Beltran, writer, poet, and activist who wants you to always remember the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire and the Bronx Twin Parks Fire as well. Let's mourn for the dead, but let's fight like all hell for the living.
How long are we gonna stay out?
The people now have the power, and they're using it.
The United Campus Workers of Georgia are here fighting for fair wages, fair raises, and for fair funding.
October, let's go.
Communication Workers of America, United Campus Workers of Georgia, 3265, bitch. Which side are you on, my people? Which side are you on? chipper whenever talking and whipping the shopping carts. They pack the beer in the walk-ins and stack the weird little boxes. Keep our kitchen fridges stocked and our financial markets solving. They clocking for a pithy $50 and bear the coffin of like 60 thrifty chuds and get spit on like sitting ducks. So they are sick of getting fucked. So you ever wanted to honor them? Here's my ask for all my hominids. Collective bargaining, Amazon and Target and FedEx and Walmart and Instacart and Whole Foods till we all get what we are to get. Workers run the company. There isn't any argument. So are you with them? Are you in? El Pueblo, Unido, jamás será vencido. El Pueblo, Unido, jamás será vencido. El Pueblo, Unido, jamás será vencido. Jamás será vencido. Jamás será vencido. Which side are you on, my people? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, my people? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, my people? Which side are you on? Which side are you on, my people? Which side are you on? Imagine a minute, millions of average women and men in the tragic position of trading in passion for wages and cash till they shackled by capitalism. Imagine a minute, millions of average citizens planting the spinach and waxing the kitchens and stacking the linens, contractors and renters and tenants, the labor extraction for pittance. What if they coordinated to address the sort of state of it in an organization? Cause fucking what? That's what organized labor does. And not even sort of, it's more of the crux. Taking the power from hoarders of bucks, big bankers offshore and they cuts, returning the value of labor to those who created the billionaires owe it to us. So if you're jaded and silly about waking up early, then earning bad. If you sad about burning, if you got a curious turning and had it with passively lurking, we got your back and we happy to have you out on the picket line, actively working, going. Which side are you on? El Pueblo, Unido, jamás será vencido. 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 Which side are you on?
My name is Michelle and I'm a barista at Starbucks. What I'm fighting for is a voice on the job and a say in my working conditions. My coworkers and I were successful in unionizing the first Starbucks and almost 9,000 corporate locations in the United States. What the public can do is continue to put pressure on Starbucks to recognize its workers' rights to organize and get out of our way. I remember the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. Mourn the dead, fight like hell for the living.
What do we want? Unionized Starbucks! When do we want it? Now! Say, what do we want? Unionized Starbucks! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Unionized Starbucks! When do we want it? Now!
The story I want to tell is really about essential workers and the building personnel who were immigrants who helped in this fire. I'm Marg Suarez. I'm a proud union member of the IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Elevator Division. I am a elevator mechanic. I service and repair elevators for a living, and I've been doing it for 18 years. And as an essential worker who is also a building service personnel, I want to tell you the story about what happened in 1911 when the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory went on fire.
When the fire started, 2 Italian-American immigrants and a black man from North Carolina stayed in the burning building and saved lives. The passenger elevator operators were Joe Zito, an immigrant from the Salerno province in Italy who lived nearby at 120 McDougal Street, and Gaspare Mortillaro, an immigrant from the Agrigento province of Sicily. A third man, whose skill and efforts proved critical on the day of the fire, was Thomas Horton, who was from North Carolina and lived in Harlem. He was listed as a porter, but he had technical skills that kept the elevators running from the basement.
So the fire broke out on a Saturday. It was 4:45 quitting time, and pay envelopes had already been distributed, and that's how many of the bodies were identified. In Joe Zito's own words, When I first opened the elevator door on the 9th floor, all I could see was a crowd of girls and men with great flames and smoke behind them. The screams from above were getting worse. I looked up and saw the whole shaft getting red with fire. I knew the poor girls up there were trapped. When I came to the floor the last time, the girls were standing on the windowsills with fire all around them. On the last 2 trips, I thought the flames might eat through the elevator cables and pitch us all to the bottom of the shaft. A body struck the top of the elevator and bent the iron. A minute later, another one hit. My car wouldn't work. It was jammed by the bodies. It was horrible. They kept coming down from the flaming floors above. Some of the clothing was burning as they fell. I could see streaks of fire coming down like flaming rockets. He sustained so many injuries, and yet when the police arrived on scene, they arrested him as a material witness. Now, when the district attorney arrived, he interviewed Joe Zito and found out not that he wasn't a suspect. He was actually a hero who had helped save countless people from dying in that fire. And I wanted to just point out the fact that we need to think about our essential workers and our building personnel as essential workers, because we wouldn't be able to function in a city like New York City without these workers. And so often their efforts and their contributions and indeed their heroism is neglected, and it's really important today to remember Joe Zito and the other workers in that building who courageously saved so many lives.
Joe Zito survived the fire, but he suffered greatly from the trauma of that day for the rest of his life. He struggled to find and keep a job and died a pauper. In 2017, in Joe Zito's hometown in Italy, a street was named for him and a plaque unveiled.
I'm Marg Suarez, also an immigrant essential worker who was brought to this country as a baby by my parents from the Philippines. And I really wanted to make sure all of you know about the immigrant essential workers who were involved in the rescue during the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire in 1911.
I'm up, I'm ready, I'll see it in the streets. I'm up, I'm ready, I'll see it in the streets. Up, I'm ready, I'll see it in the streets. It's time to turn it around. They've burned our sisters' bodies and chopped our trees down, crushed our brothers' bones right into the ground, stolen our wages and blocked our votes. It's time to turn it around. We mourn our dead and fight like hell for the living, 'cause the days are long gone for simply forgiving. Bullets, kneecaps, and chokeholds we'll never forget. It's time to turn it around. I feel your feet go marching. I feel your feet go marching. I feel your feet go marching. See you in the streets. I feel your feet, feel your feet, feel your feet. In the street, in the street, in the street. I feel the beat, our hearts beat. See you in the streets. At the dyings and the kissings and the teachings and the sittings, we walk, we chalk, and when we talk, we voice the 1,000 ancestors up in our throats. Wrists behind our backs, we've sacrificed for all who march tomorrow in the wake of our stride. All freedom long. I feel your feet, your feet. I feel your feet, your feet. I feel all our hearts beat. See you in the streets. I feel your feet, feel your feet, feel your feet. In the street, in the street, in the street. Feel the beat, our hearts beat. See you in the streets. I'm up, I'm ready, I'll see it in the streets. I'm up, I'm ready, I'll see it in the streets. Up, I'm ready, I'll see it in the streets. It's time to turn it around. We gotta right this boat, we've been capsized too long. Refugees drown and need more than this song. We gotta lift each other higher every day. It's time to turn it around. Gotta live our values, build a world we dream. Hold the fuckers accountable, divest oppressive regimes. Rescue the precious earth like a baby we love. It's time to turn it around. Here our hearts go marching, here our hearts go marching, here our hearts go marching. I see you in the streets.
Hi, my name is Alice Ip. People call me Sister Ho in Chinatown. I was a union organizer in 1982 with Local 2325. We mobilized thousands of Chinese workers in Columbus Park to fight for the union contract. I gave a speech in Chinese. Everybody was so excited, even 40 years later. Please, fight like hell for workers. We are one.
We will struggle to the end until we win. Let's celebrate our coming victory. Let's celebrate the dignity of the workers.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Deep down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Deep down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Deep down in my heart, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All around the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
The Coalition is a non-profit public history, public memory activist organization. We were founded in 2008. As you can see behind me, there are plaques on the building right now. Despite the existence of those 3 plaques, you can walk past the Brown Building and really not know about the very significant event that happened there in 1911. Our vision is that you can't walk past this building.
I had 2 great aunts in the fire, Rosie Weiner, who died, and Katie Weiner, who survived. The elegant and powerful memorial that will go up on this site was selected in an international competition by an esteemed jury, undoubtedly because it will educate and inspire all who see it. This memorial to the mostly young Jewish and Italian women immigrants will help redeem the suffering of families who have been waiting for this to happen since 1911.
The opportunity to do a memorial, to me, is one of the most meaningful ways of making space. As you approach the corner, the reflective panel turns the corner. The line of text turns the corner, but what you see in the reflection is that the names cut in sky then also turns upward, and then it becomes a vertical moment. When you're reading the story of the fire in the panel and you're seeing the names of the victims overhead, you also experience the reflection of yourself. The reason for that is because what the memorial is calling attention to is something that keeps on happening.
It's imperative that we commemorate this incident
in the long history of the garment industry, especially today when we have to recognize that the majority of the people who died in that fire were young women and immigrants.
As a labor leader who's been with my union over 50 years, Workers United, I understand the powerful story of the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. It is very important that we remember what took place so things like this never happen again. We're asking you for your help to see what you can do to make sure that people from all over the world will be able to come to this location and reflect and remember what happened on that tragic day. We need your support.
Gracias a la vida, gracias a la vida.
Greetings. My name is Edgar Romney, and I am the Secretary-Treasurer of Workers United. I've had the honor and privilege of working with Eddie Vargas for over 40 years. During that time, he had a deep commitment to workers' rights. He clearly understood the importance of fighting for workers and for their social and economic justice. During that time, Eddie also was intimately involved in the planning of the commemoration of the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. Over those many years, he was the one who made sure all logistics came together in the arrangements, the speakers, and all of the other things that needed to go into making a successful event. During the way, we got together with the coalition of the Triangle Fire Coalition and made many friends. And you're going to hear a tribute from some of them this evening.
My name is Ruth Sergel, and I'm the founder of CHALK and the Remember the Triangle Fire Coalition. We lost a giant this past year, Ed Vargas, our friend and union brother. Ed organized the Triangle Fire commemoration every single year from 1978 until last year. He was a fierce believer in the rights of workers to organize with a union, and he felt deeply the Triangle workers who had fought so hard to join the fledgling International Ladies Garment Workers Union. Ed was born on March 8th, International Women's Day, and began his career as an organizer for the ILGWU and played an integral role in the 1982 Chinatown garment workers strike. He was also a passionate believer in community. He was a board member of El Puente, LACLA, and a founding member of the Working Families Party. He believed in democracy. He was an international election observer in Chile at the end of the Pinochet dictatorship and also in South Africa when Nelson Mandela was elected. Ed served as head of security for Mandela when he came to New York City in 1990. Ed was a family man. He is survived by his beloved wife, Elizabeth Wiener, and 3 children, Greg, Ariane, and Sophia, and 2 grandchildren, Caroline and Levi. Ed had an outsized impact on how we remember the Triangle Fire. It was under his watch that the collaboration with the UFT began, and children started to come to the annual commemoration, reading out names and leaving flowers with the Triangle workers' names attached. It was under his watch that the fire department became involved, each year raising their ladder to the 6th floor, well below where the Triangle factory burned. After many years of organizing, Ed went on to work for the New York State Department of Labor, but he continued with his commitment to the Triangle Fire, organizing the commemoration each year and being a fierce proponent for the Triangle Fire Memorial, which will be unveiled next year. We hold Ed Vargas in our heart.
Ed Vargas, presente.
Brother Ed Vargas, presente.
Vargas, presente.
Ed Vargas, mi amigo, presente.
Ed Vargas, 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 presente. Ed Vargas, presente.
Ed Vargas, presente.
As we come marching, marching in the beauty of the day, living in darkened kitchens and halls amid of rain, but touched with all their radiance, men
like for the bicentennial of the Triangle Fire, there's going to be something, an event, we hope. What would be your hope, or what would be your challenge to the folks organizing that?
My hope would be that it's more international.
Mm-hmm.
My hope would be that that there's some recognition, not just of this particular factory, because this factory fire is just a symbol of like exploitation. This is what happened in the Triangle Fire. This is what's happening in Bangladesh. This is what's happening in China. This is what's happening in Pakistan. This is happening throughout the world. And then when I, as a union organizer, saw work being chased from New York to the south, to Mexico, to Santo Domingo, to other places overseas, the race to the bottom is that we have to find a better floor, no matter what country it's in, to raise the wages and conditions in which workers work under. And that's what we need to see at these particular events. It's not just about the Triangle Fire, which is a symbol, but how do we make sure that the attention of this is worldwide?